It is 8:54. With schools closed due to the coronavirus pandemic and many events canceled like prom and graduation, teenagers might be experiencing some anxiety or even negative thoughts while dealing with this unforeseen situation. Joining us live via Skype to talk about really restructuring your child's life during this dysfunctional time, we have Dr. Chanda Reynolds joining us. Dr. Reynolds, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
This is an emotional time. There are so many exciting things happening in teenagers' lives. How do we help them cope with kind of the new norm right now?
Sure. So like you said, this is a time of year where people are preparing for prom and graduation and things of that nature, and they're being told that they can't have these things. So it's only natural for these individuals to feel some level of disappointment and anger and anxiety. And so one of the things that parents can do, I always say that one of the most powerful tools for us to be able to teach our children is modeling. And modeling is essentially being able to demonstrate behaviors or exhibit behaviors that you want your children to reflect. And, oftentimes parents might say, do as I say, not as I do, when kids are the complete opposite. They're going to do exactly what you do. So it's important for parents to model how to manage stress in this moment.
Obviously, we're doing some social distancing as well. So on top of maybe some of the sadness they're feeling about missing things, they're also not seeing their friends as much, and they're teenagers. So are there ways that parents can effectively communicate with their children so everyone's living in harmony in tight quarters?
Absolutely. And, I always say social distancing doesn't mean isolation. It is completely developmentally appropriate for teenagers to want to hang out with their friends during this time. However, it's important for parents to just communicate the severity of the issue and to also communicate that you don't have to be within close physical proximity of someone to interact with that person. You can use social media. You can use Skype. You can use, Bumble and all these different other social media avenues that we have access to be able to communicate with your friends. And also, let us not forget that social interaction doesn't necessarily have to be with people outside of your family. You can interact with your family. This is a time for parents to be creative, have a family game night, have a family talent show night. This is your time to make this fun for your kids.
Let me ask you one more question, too, because sometimes teenagers aren't always expressing their emotions. How do you know if maybe they're not dealing with all of this well? Are there any signs that moms and dads should be looking for?
Absolutely. So, like I said, isolation and withdrawal are pretty much like hallmark symptoms that kids might be sad. In addition to that, irritability. If your children are feeling more irritable at times, becoming a little bit more annoyed at certain things that usually doesn't annoy them, those are hallmark signs that, it might be time to have a talk about, what exactly is happening emotionally, because we're all experiencing a plethora of emotions. So it's really important for parents to just encourage their children to verbalize how they're feeling so parents can provide them with the tools necessary in order to cope with it.
Just makes sense. We're all in it together. Dr. Reynolds, thanks again.
No problem. Thank you for having me.